Guess who's the only one that's going to be able to watch Hunter Green tonight? This guy.
Did you fork over money for the MLB.TV package?
No, I have someone else's login.
Oh, okay. It happens.
Come on.
It happens.
Oh, it's crazy. Kenny didn't even offer to share his login with me either. It was wild. Like, hey, here's the NBA TV login.
You would have blocked me. I gave
Probably
you
would have. Probably would have.
I have your NBA TV login just saved in my browser.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, you can have it. It's never going anywhere.
I watched a lot of Hornets basketball this year.
There's always a team that you have to have a league pass for. This year, the Hornets, they were at the top of the list.
Yes, they're great. Big Hornets guy.
That's curator of vibes right there, Kyle Madson. We don't do commercials here on ESPN 1320. We just keep talking. So that's a cue to Jesse. We'll just keep talking and do that thing that I hate so much. You guys just want to? Should I leave and let you two continue your little Twitter spat?
Hey man, ain't nothing for me to. Like I said last night and earlier today.
Go ahead.
I ain't fighting when these people all spring about Draymond Green. I ain't doing it. All right, I ain't doing it. I'm not fighting with these guys. All right.
Yeah, no. I mean, at the end of the day, Draymond Green is going to be a 3-time NBA champion. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an all defense. He's been a DPOY. He's going to be all those things. And you're a hater in Sacramento.
How am I a hater?
It's just facts now.
How am I a hater? Explain to me how I'm a hater.
Because you act like he's not a good player, and he is.
Damien,
objectively, he's a good.
Damien, you talk to me every day. We talk about Draymond a lot.
Yep.
How many times have I said he's a good ball player?
Yep.
How many times?
You said he's John Sally with Hall of Fame.
John Sally not a scrub. Like somebody who needs to watch more basketball. I guess John Sally not a scrub. John Sally can play.
Okay.
John Sally was an integral part of 2 championship teams, and also there was a little Twitter humor there as well.
I know.
So there's that.
So is it with watch more games?
so
that's just a hilarious thing to say to somebody when you're arguing with them. Hey, watch more.
But the thing that I don't understand, it's like I said almost on every occasion, he's a good ball player. But for Warriors fans, if you don't call him God, then you're a hater.
Exactly. I don't know what's wrong with that. No, I just he is a I mean the issue last night in my mentions and when I woke up this morning, oh my God, was because like there's people talking about scoring and like his offense and you don't have to guard. It's like, no, I get that. I would never, he's not even I wasn't talking about his offensive end of the floor. Like he's just an incredible defender. And
here's where we
unbelievable defender.
So here's where we did. He's a damn good defender. He's a great defender. Here's where we disconnect. When you talk about generational, when you not just you, anybody they throw around the word generational, I have a higher standard for throwing that word around, and that encompasses a lot. He's a great defender. That's the only thing he ever has to worry about. The guys that I talk about generational, they do it all. They do it all. Draymond's a great defender, though. Draymond's a elite defender. He's one of the best defenders.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all I was getting at.
Absolutely. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not doing this all spring.
Good luck leaving me off the all 75 lifts if I'm a generational player.
Hey, look, I'm just saying Steve Kerr called him better Dennis Rodman. And Steve Kerr played with Dennis Rodman. Not me. Don't shoot the messenger. Steve Kerr said it.
Draymond might be a better defender than Dennis Rodman was.
Yeah, that's not crazy.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think Dennis Rodman's a tad bit overrated nowadays.
He definitely is.
Yeah.
If Dennis Rodman had a regular fade, would people care as much about him?
Here's the one I don't get.
I mean, he was, so I'm gonna just go right back at it. He was pretty damn good for 3 teams, though.
No, he was absolutely, but a lot of times his antics, that's probably not the fair word to use, but
that's what they were.
His eccentricities.
Thank you. I can't spell that word, so I didn't want to use it. But yeah, that stuff is often remembered more than the fact that dude once had like 20 rebounds in a game in which he didn't shoot the ball. You know what I mean? Like he did a lot of pretty, and I actually think that's a Detroit stat. Like he has stats like that with the bad boys. So I don't know. He was really good though. Overrated. I don't know. He was good.
I like Detroit Dennis the best. I love Detroit Dennis.
Regular fade.
Man, he was a problem.
I lean into the Draymond Dennis Rodman thing because I think like there are people who know way more about basketball than I will ever know who are like, yeah, he's like I said, Steve Kerr, Michael Thompson. They both said like, yeah, he's Draymond Green or he's Dennis Rodman, but like better. The one I've never rocked with is the Charles Barkley one. Where there are Warriors fans who are genuinely tell you like, oh, he's better than Charles Barkley. And it's like, that is insane. That's an insane thing to think. Like, that's wild. I would never been on board with that. As much as I love Draymond. Prime Charles Barkley, the Warriors are winning like 80 games.
Are the Warriors like are they just playing their best basketball of the year right now? Are they just hitting that right spot, or is Denver bad, or like it feels like they're clicking right now that I'm starting to look like this team winning the West?
They might, but also Denver's bad. So that's there's like Golden State's definitely playing better than they were a month ago, but like Denver, it's Jokic and then Aaron Gordon's probably their second best player. Like that's tough. That's not good.
I knew it was all bad for Denver. Just it hit me like a ton of bricks when the Warriors went on a run and Mike Malone was like, all right, Jokic, Monte Morris, get back in there. Damn.
Yeah.
Gotta go to. Oh my gosh.
The Will Barton 30-footer late in last night's game. I think it was like a 2-point game still. And they got Jokic working in the low post, and he just chucks like a 30-foot contested 3-pointer. And it was like, this is where it's at. Like Will Barton's their number one scoring option outside of Jokic, and that's not a good place to be. So that said, with how well Steph and Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson are playing, like Klay Thompson has hit a stride. Like he's back kind of to most of what he was when he got hurt. Mm-hmm. And if Jordan Poole is going to do this, whatever it is he's doing, like just taking over as the number one scoring option, like that's what Draymond called him last night. He called him the number one option. And it's like, he kind of is right now. When they need a big shot and it's in Jordan Poole's hands, it's like, all right. You don't feel bad about it. And then, they're getting something out of their role players. And that's kind of been their formula for 7 years now. And if you told me they won the West, I would be less surprised now than I would have been 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I understand it. Now, Kyle, we're gonna have some weeks to talk about the Warriors.
Well, I know where you're going. I know you need to get to this. I got to ask him one more Warriors related question, but it's about Mark Jackson. We were talking to Trista about Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson's name came up today. He's being interviewed. He's one of we'll run down the entire list. James Sam joining us at the top of the 3:00 hour. We'll go over all of the news about the Kings head coaching interviews. But Mark Jackson is one of them. Mm-hmm. You're Warriors fan for a long time. What do you? Your complete censored only for the radio thought on Mark Jackson?
I think Mark Jackson's low-key a crazy person, but I also think he's a good enough basketball coach that he should be a basketball coach. And the Kings are a little bit in the spot the Warriors were in when he took over in 2011? 2012?
13, 14. Yeah,
in the early 2010s, they kind of had this like this jumble of like Steph Curry and David Lee and a rookie Klay Thompson. It was just kind of this just mess of players, and they needed a direction. And I don't want to give Mark Jackson too much credit for what the Warriors are right now, but he definitely got them in the right direction. I don't think he would have done the things that Steve Kerr did to kind of get them over the hump, but I do think that Mark Jackson has value as a coach for sure, especially for a team like Sacramento that just needs some kind of like stability and direction. Mm-hmm. But are they going to win a championship with him? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't think so. Like, I don't have that high of an opinion of him as a coach, but it was all behind the scenes stuff that was the issue. And then like his offense is weird. Like they had Steph
Mm.
Curry and Klay Thompson. They'd be going like ISOs to Harrison Barnes in the low post late in games. And it was a lot of David Lee. And one of the keys to their title run in 2015 was benching David Lee for Draymond Green, which is something I don't think Mark Jackson would have had the foresight to do. So maybe he's learned. I mean, that was so long ago. It's, like I said, like 7 years ago that he's been out of coaching. So maybe he's changed, but there was a bunch of stuff like issues with his assistant coaches. There was like religion stuff in there that I don't want to dive all the way into because I don't know what's true and what's not. But you just hear that like behind the scenes he wasn't.
Yeah, it's true. We've all heard it. Yeah, it's true.
All right.
Which is probably a bigger concern, and that's what Kenny and I have been trying to get to the bottom of for the last 90 minutes. Is that's probably a bigger concern than anything regarding what's happening on the basketball floor.
Yeah. But I think like Mark Jackson is. I said he got the Warriors going the right. Like in 2013. Like they were a defensive breakdown away from like being up 2-0 on the Spurs or tying that series 1-1.
Well, they should have won both games. I think they
split in San Antonio. They had the big Clay game.
The first game. Wasn't that the Ginobili one on the other side?
Where they had that defensive breakdown. Yeah. And it's just like they went toe to toe with the Spurs in their first playoff run. And then in their second one, they went 7 games with the Clippers with Blake Griffin in his prime and Chris Paul. Like that was still a pretty good team. So I would, it would, from a basketball standpoint, like you'd kind of get it, but I don't know if he would be the coach in 3 years. And I don't know if that's what Sacramento really needs is a guy that's like, yeah, hey, he can get him going for 2 years, but then they got to move on again.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Mike Brown's the move, dude. I think Mike Brown's a good coach.
I like Mike Brown a lot too.
I think you could get a lot of what Mark Jackson brings in terms of getting a young team kind of flowing the right direction. But then I also think he's a good enough coach to like win a championship. So
I'd like to
Mike
see
Brown's my guy.
We talk about all the time, or at least I talk about all the time, Mark Jackson not getting another opportunity, another fair shot. I mean, Mike Brown, I feel, is in that same realm where it feels like he's earned an opportunity to get a real shot. Like you went back to Cleveland. I didn't think he got a real shot. I'm not sure what happened in LA. He's been under the radar for a long time. He went back paying his dues. I think he deserves an opportunity somewhere. And if it was in Sacramento, that'd be great.
I agree.
Wow.
I would love that.
You want to go to your boy 19 now?
I mean, I just need to know what you think, Kyle, because I believe at the end of the day, we'll talk about this like a family. We'll get it done. I think Deebo stays. And I think gets paid. I think everybody's happy. I think that's the way this ends. But how are you seeing this playing out?
I kind of think the same thing because all of the different reporting on it leads me to kind of, and maybe this is me just trying to be optimistic, but all of the reporting on it that's all different, where you hear like, oh, he wants to be closer to home. No, he doesn't. He wants to be with his kid. Oh, no, that's not the reason. Oh, it's his role. No, it's not his role. It's money. No, it's not. It leads me to believe a little bit that there's no like firm reason that he's asking for a trade outside of a leverage play. And if that's the case, if the Niners, TJ Hushmanzada said this on the show I produced, Willard and Dibbs on 95.7, he was like, if they put a 4-year, $100 million contract in front of him, he's signing it. And if he doesn't, then his agent shouldn't be an agent anymore. Like that's like, if he's going to get 4 and 100 from the 49ers, he's taking it. And I think the Niners would get there, but there's no incentive for the Niners to do that right now. He's under contract. They can franchise him next year if they want. He would get if he sits out, he'd get the restricted franchise tag. But we're not even there yet. You know, the July and into mid-July, late July is when this is really going to start to matter. And if you're the Niners, there's just no incentive to throw a deal on the table right now. So I'm hoping the relationship isn't so fractured that he never suits up for the 49ers again. But I genuinely, I don't know. But if I'm San Francisco, I'm doing kind of whatever I can outside of an exorbitant amount of money to re-sign him because they kind of need him.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade him. Like that is, I just sit on him before I trade him. Like I wouldn't trade him.
Well, and I think if they do trade him, it's going to be for a package that they would have traded regardless of the trade request. It's going to take like a couple of first round picks and a day 2 pick and maybe a player. Like it's just going to be some insane offer that they would have taken regardless. Yeah. So I'm with you. I don't think they have any incentive to trade him, and unless they get completely bowled over by an offer, I just don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
Real quick, can Kyle Shanahan make another Deebo?
No. Man. Deebo's Deebo, but Kyle Shanahan can make offense.
What a cold week Kenny had.
I didn't say he can make another Deebo. I was saying he can make another playmaker.
Yeah, he can generate offense without Deebo.
I'm gonna run the tape back. We're gonna need to.
He generated offense with Brian Hoyer and Trent Taylor.
Literally another Deebo. I might have said another Deebo, not literally, but another. The points per game would still be 30. It'd just be in a different way.
I agree with that take.
Oh, good. You guys agree now. How great. How wonderful. We started with you guys arguing, and now you agree. That's a beautiful thing. It's the curator of vibes over at 95.7 The Game in San Francisco, our man Kyle Madson, of course, the writer at Niners Wire as well, and host of Candlestick Chronicles. We appreciate you as always, my